great job, and he's made his team very, very successful. But not all NFL teams have been as successful. And we have a segment where we are doing off-season checklist for every NFL team. We're starting from the bottom and working our way up. So our next stop on the list is the Houston Texans, who are now owners of the 3rd overall pick. So obviously they had a pretty bad season this year. What do we have for the Houston Texans first to get them back on track?
So I think the first thing is you got to move past the Deshaun Watson situation. You got to get him off a team. I know they've been looking for trade offers, and at a certain point, you got to cut them, you got to release them, or you got to take something. Right now, it's just an overarching cloud over the organization. You got to get something for them. If you can't get anything, a 4th round pick, a 3rd round pick, whatever, cut them, move on. You got to move forward, put it behind you. Until you do that, this team's gonna have a hard time building on and getting better than what they were last year.
Yeah, I think the best case scenario for the Texans right now are to slap conduct detrimental to the team onto him, cut him, try to get out from under his contract. You don't need to get anything for him. Just get out from underneath the contract, get your salary cap in check somewhat, just a little bit, and you'll wait for the lawsuit to be settled, because you're never going to win that case until the lawsuit is settled. But at least you have a little bit of leeway until that has taken place. But also, this gets you out from under Watson's contract. This gets you away from Watson, distance yourself, and gets you moving right in the right direction. And I think one thing that we agree going to our second point is the right direction seems as this they need to start investing around young quarterback Davis Mills, who seems decent.
Yeah, he had a solid rookie year, all things considering. He beat Justin Herbert and the Chargers, had really good games against the Titans, against the Rams, against the Patriots, right? But, really, really solid young player, looked better statistically than guys like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. So, I think this was a guy that they kind of took a flyer on. Maybe you could develop, and maybe they've got something here. So I think they should, and we have it number 2 on our list, is commit to Davis Mills here. Give Davis Mills your support, organizational support. And there are some offensive weapons on that team. And if you can find opportunities to add more, maybe in the middle of the draft is kind of where I'm looking at. Maybe get some more linemen, maybe find a running back mid-late draft. Add a little more depth at wide receiver, tight end if possible. Obviously, like you said, with the Deshaun Watson situation, they've got some salary cap issues, but they have Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. They've got Danny Amendola. They've got some players.
God,
right? So,
can you imagine Danny Amendola still plays football? I thought that guy was gone for sure.
He's still pretty good too. Reese, he's not great. Don't get it twisted, but he's not like a terrible player. He's still productive.
He's got to be nearing 10 plus years in the league at this point.
Look, man, when all you do is run those little 5-yard quick outs and ins on 3rd and 3 all day, you can last a long time in the NFL.
Hey, kudos to him. But like you were saying, investing around Davis Mills definitely seems like the best play for the Houston Texans.
And give him the organizational support, get the offensive coordinator building an offense for him to succeed. Because even this season, it wasn't really built for him, right? Theoretically it was built for Watson, and that fell apart, and they had Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor or Watson or somebody like that.
Yeah, so kind of retool it, revamp it around Davis Mills going into next year.
And what's our third roadmap checklist point for the Houston Texans?
You gotta get yourself a premier pass rusher. The last time the Houston Texans were good, and for a while there, they were studs there in the AFC, is when they had J.J. Watt and when they had Jadeveon Clowney. You had those 2 bookends at defensive end, pass rusher, edge, whatever you want to call it. They were really, really good on defense, and they were really, really good on as a team. I think they need to go out and get themselves a premier pass rusher. Either number 3 pick in the draft, like you said. I think Detroit ahead of them should go quarterback. So they'll have a chance to either get Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson. if whoever isn't picked at number 1 by Jacksonville, so it'll probably be Thibodeau. I think that's not a bad fit. Get him in there, get a disruptive edge playmaker. And that's a guy, right, that you need in that AFC South. You need a guy who can, force turnovers on, sack Ryan Tannehill, get after Trevor Lawrence going forward. If Carson Wentz does come back for the Colts or whoever, you're going to need someone that can get after him as well. You need that star pass rusher. That's the last time they were good. I think that's a huge priority for them early in the draft.
Well, even before that, they had a pretty good edge rusher as well. I believe his name was Mario Williams.
Mario Williams. That's the one. That was number 1 overall pick. And even before Jadeveon Clowney and those guys came to the team. Yeah, he was a staple of their defense too for a long time.
So Houston Texans star edge rusher, synonymous with being successful. So I agree with you there. Definitely a huge thing that the Texans needs to do is get that premier pass rusher, whoever it may be, whoever's available, snatch him up. Come back to your roots. Sometimes when things get a little bit hairy, you got to get back to your level. So find your premier pass rusher, lean on him, build around Davis Mills, and get rid of your locker room distractions. Those are mandatory to be successful next year.
Oh, yeah. As you just try and get better, right? Obviously, they were a bad team, so you're not going to win the Super Bowl next year, but just take the next step. That's what they need.